This is my indie film review of hashtag Models Wanted for UK Film Review. And the film is directed by Millie Ali and John Soho. Millie Ali writes the film, and she also plays a character within the movie. And essentially, it's an exploration of sex trafficking set in the US, and the way that they lure women into it is through opportunities such as modeling, websites promoting kind of lucrative jobs where they can come and audition, get paid very good amounts of money, drink champagne and have a good time, and unfortunately end up being part of this grueling and horrible world of sex trafficking. And our main kind of focus on the film is a character of Yasmin, brilliantly played by Prital Patel. And this is a sort of tenacious and quite unruly FBI agent. Yasmin starts to piece together these kidnappings which are happening, and the website that is luring them in, and decides to go undercover and get herself captured in order to free the women that are being part of this trade. And yeah, obviously there are plenty of films out there that deal with sex trafficking, and I think this one you have to kind of see it as more of a maybe an indie film. And one thing about it is very ambitious. So not only have you got the FBI type characters here with all the trappings that come with that, like costumes, guns, and fight scenes and choreography, there is also a secondary unit that come to help out in the form of Yasmin's sister Sonia, who is part of this elite group of women who come in to help women that are in trouble. And so yeah, it's very ambitious. There's a lot of characters, there's a lot of scenes, they're moving around a lot, so you don't really get bored as such, but I do think you might get confused, and it's quite easy to sort of wonder what's going on. And I also think, at 2 hours 7 minutes, a lot of it isn't necessarily needed. You could have cut some of that. However, I was very impressed, not least because of the themes that it's dealing with. We live in an age where truth is a lot harder to decipher. People are a lot more vulnerable to scams and fraud online, in particular women who can get into situations, and it can be more difficult for them to get out of. And we see things like they have dating sites and they meet up with men that are not who they say they are, and they then brutally bring these women into this sex trafficking trade. And I think that's very, very worthwhile to explore, brilliantly to bring up. There's also the idea of institutionalized racism within the authorities, which the main character Yasmin, brings up. And I think that's another important thing to explore and discuss. The acting, I think, is a very mixed bag. It's quite uneven at times. Some of the characters, you can tell maybe they've not had much familiarity with their lines, or they're not that confident on screen. I don't think you get that with the leads. So yeah, Prital Patel and also Suma Akhtar, who plays her sister, I think they're actually quite strong. And there are some other characters in the film that are pretty decent, but a lot of them, because there's so many, I think there are certain scenes that get let down because they're not at the level that maybe we as an audience would want them to be. So that's something to definitely be aware of if you're going to go in and watch Models Wanted, because this is not at that top level, even though I think it is admirable, especially trying to get this tone of, you've got kind of like a horror film or a true crime documentary type, where they're looking at these really harrowing cases. I'm not even going to say the words of things that happen to these people, but it is absolutely despicable. But you've also got like an action thriller, police type movie going on at the same time, and I think they are brought together really well, but not at the level that you might expect those films to be at. I think it's more of a worthwhile attempt. I gave the film 3 stars for UK Film Review, and I think that's just about right. My rating system goes, 1 is like awful, 2 is bad, 3 is good, which I think is where this is, 4 is great, and 5 is amazing. And I could see the filmmaker and the people involved getting up to those levels, and where this is a very, very good effort. So yeah, as I said, I think it's a film to go into knowing that it has flaws. It's a little rough around the edges, but it's worthwhile and impactful. And I think also it's fabulous to see such a great cast of female characters being offered. That they are the badasses. They're also the victims. They're also, they're in police. They're also involved in the events as well. It's not just, oh, aren't men awful? They're the ones doing all this. There are women in this organization as well doing awful things. So I think that was brilliant to see on screen. Not something I've necessarily witnessed at such a scale. So yeah, that was admirable. As I said, the film is on Amazon Prime, I think, at the moment. So you can watch it on there. Depending on when you see this video, you can go and read my written review if you like on UK Film Review. But yeah, let me know if you see it and what you think.